So the San Antonio Spurs beat the Brooklyn Nets. All right, I guess we should start there. Did we expect that to happen? Of course we did. With the amount of effort that the Spurs have shown and the cohesiveness of their offense since having that talk with Pop, they've been pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, they've been pretty good. Only so much you can do defensively when you don't have a center. But overall, they've been pretty doggone good. So as far as talking about the game and every single player, I honestly thought everyone did pretty fine. But the one that stands out, obviously, is Devin Vassell, right? And now we have quite a few people, coming out of the woodworks, like even on Twitter. I saw some people in the chat, like basically saying Devin Vassell, he's the GOAT. And obviously some people being hyperbolic, like, oh, he's the next. I saw someone just say he's the next Michael Jordan, which is funny. So all that is great. Okay, all that is great. But I just wish people wouldn't get too high and too low with some of these players, right? I think we need to just bring down our expectations just slightly. I mean, Devin Vassell to me is a third option on a team, right? Third options typically are quite inconsistent at times, but they have the capability of having performances like this. And I'll just be real with you. I mean, him getting nearly 40 points, not too many players on the team are capable of putting up those type of numbers. And I feel like Devin Vassell can do that, not continuously night after night after night, but I feel like he can go on stretches where he could do that, right? You get Devin Vassell high on the right game night, in the playoffs, and he could be huge for your team. That's a third option. I saw one comment, won't bring up the comment, but I saw a comment on Twitter saying, man, if he just gave us a third of what he did tonight, then we're good. We're golden. But it's like, he has been giving us, he's literally been giving us a third of this. Quite literally, if you look at his stats, he's been giving you a third of this performance, right? But this is peak Devin right here. Like, this is what he's capable of putting up during a game. So I just wish that we, rather than coming out and saying, I'm so sorry, Devin, I'm so sorry, yeah, everything was great. It's one game, obviously, right? He's going to be inconsistent. I think that he's going to continue to be inconsistent throughout his career. It just is what it is. He can definitely have better performance season-wise than this. I mean, he's shown it. This is a down season for him, but he's going to have stretches where he gets a little inconsistent, right? He's not a superstar player. I don't know if he'll be a star or anything like that, but I do think at the end of the day, he's a third to fourth option on a team, and that's a great option to have, right? So in my opinion, just how I feel about Devin, I think that rather than us seeing one game and getting super excited to say, oh my God, he's back, he's going to be great, he's awesome, just have the energy where you can bring it down a little bit. Recognize he is talented. Recognize that he can do something for us and that he's important for the future, or he can be important for the future. And just not be so high or so low, so hot and so cold. When it comes to like some of these players, I've been quite consistent with how I feel about each player, right? Like, that can obviously change. Give me enough time, and I see a trend continuously, and I might change my opinion on things. But Devin Vassell, to me, is a player that's a third to fourth option, and a really good third to fourth option. As you guys know how I feel about Keldon, he's somebody that can put up some numbers here and there offensively, but overwhelmingly his defense is really bad, and his decision making is really bad. Jeremy Sohan, I don't think that he's a superstar. I don't think that, maybe he could be a star. I don't know. I don't think so. But I do think that he is vital to the Spurs' future. He has a lot of versatility to his game, and I think that he's important. He's a player that a lot of teams could use, right? And obviously Wemby is just going to be one of the greatest of all time. I'll hold on to that. Steph Castle, I think he could be a star in the future. But I just think it's important just to be a little bit more even keel when it comes to some of these things. And Devin Vassell has shown us, I think Devin Vassell has shown us what he's capable of. It's very obvious that this season is a down season for him after the injury over the summer. And then, obviously him, being pulled back as far as how many minutes he could get when he came back from that injury. He just hasn't really been the same. But it really shocks me how people just absolutely turned on him. And it's funny because we have this clip of Devin Vassell after the game, kind of talking about that, bringing it up. So let's see. I guess it's already turned up. Hopefully you guys can hear this.
First three-pointer. When you hit that turnaround jumper from 14 feet away, you kind of know that it's going to be your night.
I mean, I've been struggling shooting the ball, so I just appreciate all the patience. I knew it was going to start falling eventually, so finally, good night.
Devin, congrats on the win. Congrats on the career high. Best of luck back out on the road.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he just said, which I don't know what he's talking about as far as patience. I don't know who's been patient. It's been like me and somebody else in the chat, maybe. Like, it's been like 2 people that have been patient. I don't know who's been patient. Spurs fans have been eating him alive over the past couple weeks and saying, you can't give excuses. Look at his contract. Like, he needs to be traded now. Like, I don't know who's been patient. Yeah, I don't know. But this is what he's capable of. That's all I want to say, is that you look at this type of performance tonight. Actually, hold on. Let's go back to the performance. You look at this type of performance tonight, and I think it should put things in perspective that this is what Devin Vassell is capable of. And not many players on the team can give you numbers like this, right? Are capable of hitting 8 threes, 8 out of 11 threes in a game. This is sick. There's some really great stats here. You know? That's all I have to say. I just say chill out. Amadou, why are you posting that? Let's be real now. Clan, you know you were on the fence too. About what? Devin? What do you mean? Can you elaborate? I'll be sure to answer it, you know. About Vassell being traded? I'm still okay. Okay. Ah, man. Okay. All right. So let me say this. So everybody that's saying that Devin Vassell needs to be traded right after he played poorly, right? Or he's been inconsistent. I don't think that that's a good enough reason just to be like, oh yeah, I don't want him on the team. Like, especially when you start to look at, okay, he had the injury, he had these other things going on. Now, if you put it in the right context, sure, like I would trade Devin. But right now, everybody that's bringing up like trade Devin Vassell, they don't actually have a player that's gonna match what you would get, right? And by the way, because the Spurs were able to like trade nothing to get De'Aaron Fox, I really don't see any reason to trade Devin Vassell. Like, who's better than De'Aaron Fox that you will be able to trade Devin Vassell for? You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought if you were to get De'Aaron Fox, it would take trading a Devin Vassell. That's what I would assume. But if we don't have to give up anything to get De'Aaron Fox, then why am I going to sit here and advocate for trading Devin Vassell? For what? Who are we going to get? Even for De'Aaron Fox, it would have took more than just Devin, I thought. Much more than Devin. Dude just dropped 37 points trading for Doncic. If Doncic was on the board easily, like for Luka Doncic, I'll trade Sohan, Devin Vassell. Who else you want? And basically, I'll trade anybody you want except for Wemby. Michael Porter Jr. You see what I'm saying? Like, what's the... Yeah. I just think it's a little silly to say let's trade Devin Vassell and we don't really have... Like why? Just keep him. If you can get De'Aaron Fox without trading Devin Vassell, why are we advocating for trading Devin Vassell? We didn't have to trade anybody to get Fox. Who cares? It's just chill. You know? That's how I feel now. At the time where it was talking about, you know, trading for De'Aaron Fox, yeah, I was on board for trading Devin for Fox. Sure. I was on board for that. Clan said we should keep him another season or two unless we get better player for Vassell. Also, it's been an off season for him. He is allowed an off season. Yeah, that's how I feel. I've been saying that. I've been saying let's try to keep him for a season or two. I mean, before we start saying like, oh, this contract, oh my goodness, like what are we panicking for? What are we rushing for? We know what Devin Vassell is capable of doing. He's in a down season. We didn't even have to trade him to get De'Aaron Fox. Why advocate to trade him? What? Why? Clan, do you still want Keldon traded? I'll just say I still don't believe Keldon Johnson fits with this team. He doesn't look great, especially when Wemby is playing. But if the Spurs can make it work, I mean, I don't care. I do like Keldon Johnson as well. It's not like a DeJounte Murray situation, right? Like for those years, I was telling you guys like I'm not that crazy about DeJounte on the court or off the court. It is not that case with Keldon. It is strictly on the court. Everything else, I love Devin. I mean, not Devin. I love Keldon for, you know, and he does bring hustle. Like he does bring some hustle. So it's really hard for me to just, if we can keep him and make it work, I'm content. But I just don't think you can. Trade Devin to move up in the draft or future picks for Devin. I feel like future picks isn't good enough, especially when we have so many already great picks. Moving up in the draft, I think, is actually valid. If you wanted to trade Devin Vassell and you had an opportunity to get like Cooper Flag or something, like yeah, I would do it. I think that would be a good trade. Like trade with the Wizards or something. I think that's that would be a good thing to do. But other than that, I mean, I don't really see a reason to trade Devin. You said no? I don't know which part you react. Are you reacting to what I just said, or because I think trying to, if the Spurs really wanted Cooper, which we already have like 2 lottery picks this upcoming draft, and you have a lot of options. But if they were hell bent on I want Cooper Flag, then I think that's a reasonable trade. I don't think it gives you Cooper though. I could be wrong. I don't want Cooper as much as I did now. Why? Anyways, Vassell increasing his trade value. Let's not think like that, man. Devin Vassell. Let me say this about Devin, okay? Devin Vassell is a player that deals with confidence issues, right? Probably pretty similar to Derek White, I think, when it comes to like scoring. He's more confident than Derek, but still, like he deals with that, right? Coming off of an injury, but he's already shown, I think, during last season that he can fit and coexist pretty well next to Wemby, right? He can take on you need a bucket, ISO to me. He can take on a facilitation role, and he can take on a catch and shoot role. He's shown that throughout his career that he can be quite successful in all 3 of those roles, depending on where you fit him. So I don't have a concern with whether or not he can fit with Wembanyama. So if I had that concern, then I'll be with you guys saying like, oh yeah, okay, I understand trying to move him, right? But I don't have that concern. I think that is fine. So I'm just not like excited or optimistic for the idea of moving this player that's very talented and also has shown that he can fit with the team. Is he going to be inconsistent? Me personally, I am content knowing that our 3rd or 4th option probably is going to be quite inconsistent. My favorite player of all time, Manu Ginobili, shooting wise, he was inconsistent, right? My favorite player of all time, I think he's a Spurs GOAT. I think he's one of the greatest players to ever walk this earth. But as far as shooting, he was inconsistent. And that's okay. I'm content with that. If he's going to be the 3rd or 4th option, you just have to take it. Got to deal with it. Like, look at this. Now, he has some really stellar seasons here. But you can see, let's see, his 2nd year, he was getting nearly 30 minutes a game. 41% from the field. Another year, which he went 44, then 43% from the field, 42% from the field, 39% from the field. This is older Ginobili, though. But yeah, he's capable of being inconsistent. And that's okay. It's not a big deal. And Ginobili never even averaged more than 20 points a game. Funny enough, the most points that he averaged during a season was Devin Vassell's highest so far. Devin's very young. But obviously Devin's stats would look much different if he was playing next to Duncan and Tony. Who wins in a 1v1, Duncan or Vic? Like prime Duncan, or like, are we talking prime Duncan with Vic, or are we talking like, I guess it doesn't really matter. Duncan. Fundamentals are just too good. He has too much strength. He'll be able to get a point quite easily. Then again, I mean, I guess if Vic is hot from outside, then he could take Duncan, but I think Vassell was one of the most consistent shooters out of his draft class, so he has the potential to. He is fine. Okay? He is absolutely fine. I am not one that's like hyped to trade a bunch of players, right? Especially when I think that you're going to get a diluted product from it. You can't do too many trades. You do too many trades, you're going to get a diluted version. Like when people say trade Sohan for what? Like what are you going to get? What are you trying to get for Sohan? What if Sohan is such a bad player, then what do you think you'll actually get for him? If Devin Vassell is such a bad player, what do you think you'll actually get for him? Spurs didn't even have to trade anybody to get Fox. Not really. So like, what's the rush? If we can finesse teams that way, then what's the rush? Just be patient. You did not just compare Manu to Vassell. I hate that it's like this. Like anytime I bring up something just to give us a little bit more perspective, people instantly say, wow, you just said that Vassell is as good as Manu. When I literally started off saying that Manu Ginobili is better than Devin Vassell, and he's a legend, and he's my favorite player of all time. I'm sorry. I could have sworn I said that Manu Ginobili was inconsistent scoring-wise, as so is Devin. That's all I said. And that's okay. Devin Vassell can get it together. And I also said that Devin Vassell can do more than just score. He can. He can do more than score. Jeez, man. Come on, y'all. Manu is 10 times better. You see what I'm saying? Like, what? Do you guys understand that Manu is my favorite player? Not really. He's a scorer. One of the critiques that Mitch Johnson has given towards Devin is that he said Devin Vassell is too much of a team player. He facilitates too much. He sets up teammates too much, and he needs to focus on just scoring. Like, that's who Devin is. Devin does that a lot. Jeez. When are we getting NBA prospect videos, Clan? When is this season over? Right when the season's over. I guess right when the season's over. You think Vassell's a good facilitator? Yes. Yep, I do. I think Vassell's a underrated facilitator. I'll say that. I don't. I think he's good. I think he's shown it. He has some crazy passes that are not talked about enough. That behind the back pass, I wonder if I can show it without getting copyrighted. Hold on. If I mute. This is crazy. That's insane. Not anybody can just make that pass. That's an insane pass. That is an insane pass. Play it in slow motion. Can I do that like this? I don't think I can do that on I don't think I can do that on shorts. He's a crazy great passer. I think he's very underrated in setting up his teammates. The only problem with him is he does it too often. Make sure this is it's a good pass. Good pass. Castle's a better facilitator. Yeah, I think Castle has better facilitating instincts. Sure. I don't know if he's better. Like if I asked Castle to run the offense versus Vassell, I think right now Vassell would have, an easier time. Like he would do better. But I mean, rightfully so, he should. Right? A little bit older, more experience. But yeah, I think Castle will be a better facilitator when it's all said and done, obviously. Like run point guard. We've had Devin Vassell run point guard. He wasn't too shabby. We've had him run point guard. We had him run point guard last season. A decent chunk of last season. And on occasion he'll run it. Not as much this season, because obviously, like, you got CP3 and Fox and Trey Jones, Castle, so you didn't really have him do it as much. KD and his coach arguing and yelling at each other right now. You love to see it. I'm gonna have to look that up. Anyways, sorry. Don't know what we're talking about anymore. All I want is for us to chill out a little bit. Obviously, when it came to the Fox situation, trading Devin Vassell, I thought that was a fair trade-off, but Brian Wright is a GOAT, and we didn't have to do any of that. So my opinion on everything going forward is I'm even more patient. The fact that the Spurs didn't have to get rid of any of the core or anyone that could be perceived as the future core, where it like Keldon, Sohan, Vassell, obviously Wemby, but the fact that you didn't have to get rid of any of those players and you were able to get De'Aaron Fox, it just makes me want to be even more patient. It's going to be a lot of players just kind of falling in our lap at this point. We already have Cooper Flag liking posts publicly about joining Wembanyama. We have draft picks that want to come to San Antonio, right? We've had multiple draft picks say, yeah, I want to go. Draft prospects say, hey, I want to go to San Antonio. Like, a lot of players just kind of falling in our laps. Let's chill out a little bit. Let's relax a little bit. Let Devin Vassell get his rhythm, right? If he doesn't fit in a year or two, sure, you can move him. But right now, what's the rush? It's not like Devin Vassell is the reason that the Spurs losing these games. Not really. Just change our perspective a little bit. Devin Vassell can be a third or fourth option, and that's a good option. Really great option if he's third or fourth. So yeah. Let's be patient.